video of this series about Kinesiotape. In this video, we will go over some scar taping techniques to kind of help decrease any scar tissue that you might have. A really good thing to do before you look at any taping of any scar is to make sure that it has been at least 6 weeks after surgery before you start doing anything to the scar. You need to make sure the scar heals properly. And the goal for Kinesiotape is to introduce little micro shearing of the layers of the scar to kind of break up that scar tissue and decrease that scar tissue overall. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over assessing the skin, assessing the scar to see how we need to tape it. Now for assessing the scar, we're going to first make sure it's healed. Like I said, at least 6 weeks. Make sure it is fully healed. If it still looks like it's a little open or a little thin, then make sure you wait even longer than 6 weeks, but 6 weeks at the minimum. First, what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to glide the skin in all different directions. So I'll use my forearm for example. So you're gonna take your fingers and you're gonna glide up, down, left, right, on both sides of the scar. So say there's a scar right here, you're gonna wanna make sure you can pull the scar both ways, all 4 directions. Kind of go on the other side, do the same thing, and see if you can feel any restriction in the skin or the scar tissue itself. And once you find restriction, you'll know there's a restriction because you won't be able to move it a certain way, it'll be stuck. Once you find that restriction, then you know that that's the area you need to tape to try to break up that restriction. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go over the basics of scar taping and then the demonstration. All right, now we're gonna go over some steps on how you should perform the scar taping techniques. So once you assess the scar, you are also going to assess for any swelling, heat, or redness associated with that scar, because that means there might be some inflammation still left in the scar and you want to make sure that clears out a little bit longer. So you might want to hold off just a little bit before you start taping it. But what you're going to do is you're going to cut little tiny multiple pieces of tape, just enough to go over the scar, just like the width of the scar. You're going to want to make sure you go over it. I will show you that in the demonstration. So you're going to want to get a lot of them. You can also, most tapes come in 2 inches, 2-inch wide pieces of tape. If it's too thick, you can also cut it down to 1 inch. So you're gonna start applying in the direction of the restriction. So say it was restricted on the way up, you're going to want to apply the tape going in an upward direction. So you're gonna want to crisscross the tape, but make sure they're going up. So what you would do is you would take the anchor, which is not on stretch, apply it on one side of the scar, and then pull it about 50% tension across the scar up in the direction of restriction, and then place it down, and then peel off the last bit of tape and just lay down the anchor. Because remember, there has to be anchors on both sides of the tape for it to not peel off. So once again, I will go over in a little more detail in the demonstration, but you're going to want to keep applying tape in that direction, multiple pieces of tape in that direction, and keep it on no more than 5 days, roughly about 3 to 5 days, and you should be okay. So next, we will go over a little demonstration on how this is done. All right, here we are again with some scar taping. So I kind of drew a scar on her forearm to demonstrate, but you're gonna cut the tape in half to make it a little bit thinner, and you're going to find out where the restriction is. So say she has a restriction going up, you're gonna wanna angle the tape going up. So you're going to get the anchor. Let's see if I can get it. Here's the anchor. And you're gonna place it on one side of the scar, like so. And now you're going to kind of peel off some of the tape, and you're going to apply a 50% tension going up in the angle of restriction, and then you're just going to slowly peel it off and apply the second anchor. And you're going to kind of keep doing that all the way down the scar. So say I take this one, but now we're going to crisscross it. So now I'm going to start on the other side. So start right here, apply a 50% tension, and then apply the anchor. And so you're just going to keep going. So here's another one. Apply on this side. Make sure it's not over the scar, make sure it's on the other side of the scar. Apply 50% tension, and then an anchor. And then we'll do one more. So you're gonna take this to go the other way. You're gonna apply anchor on one side of the scar, apply 50% tension, and then you're gonna apply the second anchor. So it looks like a little crisscross pattern, and that will kind of free up some scar tissue. Thank you for watching this video series on Kinesiotape. I hope you learned a lot of different techniques that you can use on either yourself or your colleagues. Please share these videos if you believe your colleagues can benefit from them, and I look forward to making more videos for you in the future. Thank you.